What's going on, you guys? It has been some time, and excuse the voice, I am sick currently. I've been trying to get not sick for the past week and a half, but I just recently got back from Montreal where I got just brutally just caught the cold and it just beat me until I couldn't breathe pretty much. So I'm gonna go and get a tea. I'll be right back. I lied. I have decided to make some coffee because I haven't had coffee in a very long time because I've been drinking tea and I've been trying to get my sickness go away by drinking Dayquil. And I don't know if you have ever literally drinking Dayquil, and I just took a shot and it was, I hated the taste. But today we're not here to talk about my sickness. Today we're here to talk about some double exposure. And the reason for that is I recently posted a double exposure shot on my Instagram and a lot of people have seemed to really, really like it. So I thought, why not try to recreate said double exposure with different pictures, but still involve you guys in the process of how I did it. So let's hop into the computer right here. All right, so we have Lightroom opened up here and I have made all my adjustments already on this picture. This was a behind the scenes shoot from G-Tech Apparel and their new pouches, which you can actually see here. I don't know if they released any images, but this is what they are. Super cool pouches. They're heated in the inside. They keep your hands warm in the winter. It's awesome. Now, here's a picture of Chris, and this is the one that you see up here. I love this picture. It's just so contrasty, it's so punchy, and I think it would do really, really great for doing a double exposure. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click, and I'm going to go to edit in Photoshop. Then, it's going to open this whole image up in Photoshop, and we can get to editing. All right, so here's my image. As you can see it all together. The background is what it is, so I'm just gonna unlock this. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to separate our subject from the background to begin with. So the way that I would do it is usually just hit select, go into color range, and if this was a fully white background, then I would just click on the white and I would hit OK. But as you can see, there's a bunch of these little areas down here that are also highlighted. So if I highlight those and I delete those, Chris is just gonna become transparent, which we don't want. So what I do in this case is if you go to the top here, there's this thing called the magic wand tool. Click on that, highlight a portion of the green and then just hit delete. Then I do this a couple more times until most of my green that I don't want is gone. Cool, so now I got all the greens to be gone. However, there's still a little bit of black on this side that I would really like to get rid of. So what could we do? Well, if we hit on the magic wand tool, it's just gonna highlight a bunch of Chris, so I don't want that. In this case, I would switch to my eraser tool and I would book up the hardness, because as you can see on the areas here, Chris's shoulder is very, very distinct. So I definitely want that hardness to be showing, but I will take back a little bit of the area and size of the brush. Then all you do is you just start deleting away. I'm just gonna be a little bit more precise. So I'm gonna switch to my trackpad on my MacBook Pro, and I'm just gonna go in a little bit closer for that extra good look. Boom. Boom. Great. Now we have Chris completely detached from the previous wall, so we can actually just punch this up and we can delete the remaining of the wall. So boom. We now have Chris, but now we need an image. So we're gonna open up my hard drive. Now I was actually kind of browsing through a couple of pictures already, and I found this shot right. Where did it go? Actually, we can just use this sunset shot. Boom, we're gonna open this back up. And you see it's a beautiful shot of the mountain line plus the sun going right through it. It was a gorgeous morning when we got it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit hold Option. We're going to drag this onto the other side. It's gonna ask if we want to put it in. Yes, we do. Now, we have it. We're gonna drag it down to the bottom, and now what we have is Chris basically looking like he's green screened onto the background, which is just the mountains. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on Chris's layer, and I'm going to turn down the fill just to about 52. What I'm gonna do now is I'm actually going to click on layer 1, and I'm going to adjust it so that I can go and bring this sunrise straight up onto where he is. But in order for me to do that, I need to actually just zoom into the image. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit Control T or Command T if you're a Mac user, and I'm just gonna move this shot around a little bit. Perfect. Now what we can do is hit Enter, and we have this beautiful line of the mountains, we have the sunshine, we have him. So what I created here is a distinct line in which we can kind of go off of. Now, what we need is a background layer. So we're gonna go down to the bottom, and we're gonna hit the rectangle tool. Then, we're going to zoom out a little bit, if it lets us. It doesn't let us, there we go. We zoomed out, and I'm just gonna create a layer. Now it's not the color that I want, so I'm just gonna double click. I'm going to adjust it to white, and boom. Then I'm gonna drag this down all the way to the bottom. So now, we have the white layer at the bottom, which is great. All we have to do now is hit this layer, and we're going to press Command or Control, I think it's on Windows, and then we're going to see this little rectangular thing around our cursor. Then we're going to hit on Chris's layer. What it does, it actually creates a layer selection around Chris, but we are still on this layer, so it's only going to affect what is our current layer, which is our mountains. But if I want to get rid of everything else but the mountains, then I'm going to go up to Select. I'm going to hit Inverse. What it's going to do is it's going to select everything else of that image except that selection. It's basically going to invert it. So I selected the invert, I'm just gonna hit delete, and boom, a bunch of things have been deleted now. Now, I still have a little bit of remainders here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna get out of this highlight, and I'm gonna go back to my eraser, and I'm going to be pressing this hardness down a little bit because I want to make some soft edits. And as I do, just gonna correct all the mistakes that I have done previously. But because we have used Chris's layer as the base of it, Chris's layer also has some imperfections, so we're just gonna go in and delete those the exact same way. Okay, now once you have done this, there are two things that we can do. One, sorry, I just wanted to zoom into Chris's hair because the way that it disappeared, I didn't like it. Now, we have one of two options. We can hit Chris's layer, and we can start removing Chris by selecting his layer, punching up this eraser a little bit, and just dive away. Now, what we've done is we deleted enough of Chris that we can just use this sunshine as a really big contrasting point. Cool thing is with this too is with the way that this kind of worked out, we kind of create a cool little like effect around his neck. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do from here. In order to customize and make it look cool a little more, what we can do is we can double click Chris's layer and apply a gradient overlay. What this does is it essentially gradients the whatever gradient pattern you have selected. Here I have a black and white, but if you just go into the basics, there's a clear and white, so you can just add that. You can reverse it, so it's just a little bit different. You can scale it down, up. I'm gonna add opacity to it just a little bit, and you can select the blending options. Do you want to overlay it? Boom, done. So now we have another thing. Here's Chris's chin. If I want to, I could press up the size of it and then just the hardness very, very low. What I'm gonna do actually is I'm going to create a little more light in that layer for Chris. So there you go, boom. Here's how you do double exposure. It's very, very simple. It's super easy, but there are different ways of doing it. This is just my way. This is how I like to do it. It gives me a little bit more customization with things and such. But if you have another way of doing it, I would love to hear it. For now, thank you for checking this out, and be on the lookout because I just got a new package and I'm going to unbox it in the next video. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for stopping by. And if I see you next time, I'm gonna give you a fist bump. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified whenever there's a new video coming out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.